The story of the Titanic is one of the most famous stories of its era. However, people really don't know the full truth behind its disaster. Why couldn't the captain steer clear of the iceberg? Why were there so few survivors relative to the ship's capacity? What was left behind in the cold Atlantic Ocean that day? Many people only have background of the subject as far as watching the movie Titanic, which doesn't fully capture the epic story of the doomed ship beyond the romance of Jack and Rose. All people were left with was the knowledge that the ship sank and Rose let DiCaprio die in the icy waters of the Atlantic. Craig Wade, in his novel The Titanic, gives the full account of the journey from the building of the ship to the lonely lifeboats left among the Titanic's wreckage, all from the unique perspective of the investigation led by William Alden Smith. Wade allows the reader to be able to learn, along with the committee, how the night played out from the hearings of key survivors. His purpose in the novel is both to capture the horror and wonder of the night of April 15, 1912, and the United States and Britain's response to discovering what happened to over 2,000 of their citizens. He achieves this using nearly all primary sources from reporters and survivors of the Titanic. Oddly, the first way Wade introduces the sinking of the Titanic is not from witnesses, but from messages sent ashore, creating more suspense as more information is gathered in the hours and days after the ship sank. The confusion of the nation ashore was represented in the newspaper's headings. As time passed, the talk changed from "all saved from Titanic after collision" to "my God, we are ruined, they are all lost," as one man exclaimed when he learned the true fate of his family. The mystery continued, building up tension of the return of the survivors until the Carpathia came to dock. Wade captured the desperate hope of the nation with a quote from a man whose family was emigrating third class to the United States, who exclaimed, "I don't know if they're all alive, I can't tell. They've taken their names off the list and put them on again." Only when the passengers came off one by one did the world know how many they had really lost, how few had survived. So the question arose, what happened to all the people who perished? The question brought along the famous investigation led by William Alden Smith. As Wade narrates the investigation of the Titanic's fate, he chooses subtle moments in the hearings to cut to the stories of people aboard the ship. He allows the reader to experience both the tension of the hearings and the various emotions of the surviving passengers. One of the first witnesses, the surviving lookout, tries to estimate how far the ship was from when he first saw the iceberg, how large it was, and how it struck the ship. Frustration builds in the room as each person's testimony is widely different. Wade explains that because the ship is so massive, each person is bound to have a different experience. One example of this is how differently passengers experienced the collision. A member of the lookout fleet recalls only a slight grinding up on the deck, while a member of the fire crew down in the coal room felt the collision with all its might, sending all his crewmates sprawling from their bunks. Even out on the water, each lifeboat experienced a different feeling, each one detailed to the reader by Wade. One particularly vivid experience from a woman on lifeboat number 8 was the sound that arose as a sea of passengers were floating in the icy sea, left behind the submerged Titanic. She recalled neither a wail nor a frantic shout, instead a heavy moan as of one being from whom final agony forces a single sound. Another experience captured by Wade were the people in collapsible lifeboat A, which were initially brought out of storage and dropped into the ocean. The only passengers were those who fell into it from the decks or pulled themselves in from the icy waters. The boat, slowly sinking, half filled with water, floated silently for hours as people froze to death. The only exercise, one man recalled, was when someone gave up hope and died, who immediately threw overboard to give the live ones a little more space and at the same time lighten the weight of the boat. Only 12 of the initial 25 passengers lived to rescue of the ship Carpathia. One constant rose, however, in everyone's testimony, that as the ship was seeping down into the water, a group of musicians accepted their fate and began playing music. Their last song, as reported by some, was "Nearer My God to Thee," which is playing. The song, symbolic of the event, grasps the solemn mood of the surreal night. The spirit of the event, portrayed by witnesses, was one of the most powerful of the early 19th century. Craig Wade brilliantly compiles these to capture the astonishment of the doomed voyage both on the ship and at home. Using the unique balance of survivor stories and investigation, the reader receives the story in an untold perspective that leaves no mystery as to what happened